Thank you for watching my last video and posting your questions related to the UK immigration changes which were proposed in the white paper which was published on 12th of May. So today I've invited Amil from Mac 25 Immigration Firm who's going to take up most of the questions which I have filtered based on the questions that you guys have already posted there. So if this video is of any use to you, make sure you keep watching the video till the end. But before we do a deep dive, a quick introduction about myself. My name is Sarika and I have been living in the UK for the past 15 years. I'm currently working as a lead business analyst at one of the largest tour operators in Europe. So without any further delay, let's get started with today's video by introducing you guys to Amil. Hi Amil, welcome once more to Your Knowledge Buddy. And if you don't mind, can you please introduce yourself once to my audience?
Hi Sarika, hope you're well. So this is quite unusual. We are having a podcast like that. So my name is Mohammed Amil. I'm an immigration consultant lawyer based in London, Canary Wharf. My company name is Mac 25 London Limited, and we help applicants, students, workers and businesses to apply for sponsor licenses, skilled worker visas, and also I'm an ex-international student.
Yes, I love that. Okay. And Amil, today's topic, as you know, we are talking about the recent white paper which was published yesterday, 12th of May. And I think most of my audience, they have already even read your LinkedIn post. They have seen Instagram reels. They have also watched my YouTube video. So I have already seen many questions on all the platforms. So what I have done, I've kind of gathered few of the important questions, which I'm going to throw directly to you. And if you don't mind, can I just start with question one, which is about when does the new changes which are proposed, it's supposed to start? That is the most burning question for people.
I thought you'll ask the most basic question, what is white paper? But I think our audience...
Okay. If you want to explain that, why not? I thought my audience knows it, but please go ahead and explain it.
Yeah, I think our audience is quite knowledgeable. You know, everyone is immigration lawyers, solicitors and barrister in their own home. But still, I'll just say, because like you said, like we discuss behind the camera, that how many types of different calls we are getting, the way people are persuading us in terms of to understand what is white paper. They are not understanding what is it.
Yeah.
So white paper is a proposal. It's not a legislation, which is not laid out in just immigration, but in other sectors as well in United Kingdom. So white paper has been established to make sure that this is what the UK government is intending to do in the future if it goes through the House of Commons, House of Lords, in the Parliament, and then it will be come into existence phases by phases. Not the entire building will fall into us together. It's gonna fall brick by brick.
Yeah, they had always followed transition plans whenever they made some changes in the past as well. I didn't see them making all the plans like from day one. They had made some transitional plans, and I'm hoping this white paper, which did not describe what will be the transitional plans when it becomes legislation, if it becomes, I believe they will come with some transitional plans as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
So,
thanks for explaining that, Amil.
Yeah, so I think it's very skeptical to say. The document is 82 pages long.
Yes.
I read it 4-5 times. I think I ate it. I got dreams of it as well, to be honest. I spoke to a lot of my peers, my seniors who have been in this industry for a very long time. But there's no update, Sarika, as such. That not just about skilled worker, ILR, what we are going to discuss in this video, but it's not yet confirmed, because the white paper has got a certain process, as I explained initially. That's why it's known as white paper. So we don't know when it's going to happen, but the Home Office, the UK government, is very certain this is what they want to do. If not all, then certain things might take into effect from April. As we all know that every year April is something which we don't look forward to, but obviously April is something which I'm aiming, not for all, but at least for some of the stuff like skilled worker and ILR, things like that.
April 2026.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. So do you know that in the white paper, once the white paper is published, what are the next steps for the government? What happens next?
So it's very seldom that we get to know that from outside of the scope, because we are not internally involved into stuff like that. But what I have read, not just the post and LinkedIn and YouTube videos, but I went through some House of Commons and House of Lords website also. It goes into the Parliament. It goes into certain let's say votes in order to become a legislation. It goes through House of Commons, House of Lords. It depends what kind of legislation and requirement it needs at that point of time. And after it has been filtered out by all the processes which they have internally, then it comes out for the public that this is the date it's going to be implemented from, irrespective of whatever category we are talking about.
Perfect. Thanks for explaining that. So Amil, I have more questions for you. Again, based on your introduction, I'm not sure how much you'll be able to cover because there are no information in the white paper. But I'm going to tell you there are a couple of things which is panicking my existing audience at the moment. So one of the category of people are who are already in the UK on some kind of work visa, say skill visa or global talent visa. When they heard the news about ILR period, which is extending from 5 to 10 years, of course they are worried, does it mean, are they impacted, or will the new rule will be only for the new applications? From the history of the UK, what have you seen, and do you think any kind of reference is made in the white paper on it?
No, it did not. Because the thing is, whatever reforms we have seen in the past few years in the UK, because past 5 years have been quite drastic changes in the skilled worker, in the sponsor license scenario we have seen. So it was very clear that this is going to be the date and this is how it's going to be, and these are the people who will be eligible for it. But as I said, this is just a proposal. It needs to go through a filtration process. So we are not yet aware about the details, but what we can see from the onset, that I don't think so, that is my opinion I'm giving, this is not official or anything, that it won't be applicable to people, let's say whether you're on a spouse route, skilled worker, let's say innovator founder, where you're on course of getting your ILR and you would be said that, let's say if my ILR is pending in the next 2 months, they won't say, okay, now it's 5 years and 2 months. It won't happen like that. Because that's justifiable as well for people who have already been in the UK for the long period of time. So I don't think so it would happen, but as yet nothing has been official. So let's wait and hope for the best.
Okay, thanks, Amil. That makes sense actually. Yeah. Otherwise, oh my God, I don't know what will people think. Imagine if their ILR is due next year, they may have to wait longer. If they say, even existing people who are on skill visa is impacted.
Yeah.
Personally, even I think they should not be impacted, but that's just our personal opinion, not a legislation.
Yeah, that's true. One of my clients called me actually just before this video. He's due in the next 2 weeks. So think about people like them. They are getting sleepless nights. So he wanted to have a motivating call from me, and now he's relaxed.
Okay, great. Okay, Amil, moving to the next section of my audience, which are future students who are planning to come to the UK. So say September intake. Most of the universities have already sent out the CAS letter, and students are getting ready to come in the September intake 2025. The proposal which was made that the graduate visa now will be reduced from 24 months to 18 months. So they are panicking now, and even parents are kind of messaging, and they had booked my calls asking whether the students who are coming in September intake, will it impact them or not? Any kind of your steer on that?
See, I look it as a positive side, Sarika. Okay, because there were talks that it would be abolished completely.
True.
There were talks that there would be a lot of restrictions coming with it. Though there are certain things which they have said that yes, it should be in line with the skilled worker jobs and requirement, like from RQF level 3, the job should be RQF level 6. I was reading the white paper and the recent surveys actually, and they said that only 30% of the graduate route people do that kind of a job which should be applicable for them. Rest 70% of them, either they're working as delivery drivers, cleaners, receptionists, and all sorts of things which is not relevant. Coming back to your question, whether it's going to be impacted for new students, I don't think so, because it's too early to talk about that. But graduate route is something which could be implemented quickly, because there is not such a drastic change. They said in the white paper specifically that yes, there would be salary implications. There would be, apart from the timings from 24 months, let's say from 2 years, it's 1.5 years. Not a very big difference in terms of the timeline. But if they put a cap on it, they put let's say RQF level 6 cap on it, that you should be only doing skill jobs, then it would be a bit difficult. But I think still the students have that kind of option to still get that opportunity without getting answered.
Correct. And my next question was on that. So if they put a cap of RQF level 6, how will that work? So for example, today when students finish their dissertation, when they get the result, if they have passed the exam, they get a letter from the university, and the university sends a letter to Home Office that they are eligible to apply for the graduate visa. So are we saying now the students, when they submit their dissertation, they will also have to give a job offer equivalent to RQF level 6, and then only when the details are sent to the Home Office, then only they will be granted the graduate visa?
So normally what used to happen when I was a student 10 years back, when we didn't have a graduate visa, we used to get 4 months of leeway after our course, which still the students have. So I think that 4 months of leeway will make a big impact on their life, because as yet officially nothing has been out. There are some universities which provide 6 months as well after the course has been ended. candidate. So they get like 4 to 6 months in between, and in that time, if they manage to get a job, or maybe while completing the course they manage to get RQF level 6 jobs, I think government will make some reforms at that point of time, because we still don't know what stages the student needs to follow at that point of time, and right now we are just assuming. So what I feel that 4 months or 6 months, whatever they are getting after completing the course, that could make a big impact. And I think it's still a good thing, because everybody needs fresh talent. Still 30% I would say is a really very big number in terms of if actually people are working on that kind of RQF level 6 roles.
You know what my biggest worry is? Now students are filling those low skill jobs, and after Brexit, UK did face a lot of labor shortage. And now if students are not filling that, who will be filling those low skill jobs? There will be some shortage.
So as our Honorable Prime Minister Keir Starmer said, I take the full name. So he explicitly said that he wants the companies to invest in the local talents. Okay. He wants that before any company hires anybody from overseas, they need to show that they are investing something into the country. They are training the people well. And obviously, the white paper also suggested that they are increasing a bit of student fee or student tax. That tax they are going to use and invest in the training of the local people. So I think they already have a plan in their mind. It's huge, whatever came into the white paper. And there's a lot of things needs to be done, and see how they make phases wise.
So we need to keep watching this space for more updates, right, Amil?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I want to touch upon another update which says about student visa, which I'm not very sure about, so I'm going to ask you. It says about minimum pass for sponsors CBA to raise to 95% and course completion rate 90%. Can you explain that a little bit?
So I know you very well, Sarika. Actually, I was thinking that you might ask something which is offbeat. So CBA obviously means compliance based assessment. Okay. So if we are talking about the CBA of 95%, what the Home Office is trying to say, let's say for example, if a university has issued 100 certificate or confirmation of acceptance studies CAS letter to students, out of that at least 95% of the student should enroll in the university. They should be getting the visa.
Right.
That's the 95% of CBA.
Okay.
And the 90% what you're talking about, they want to make sure if 95 people are getting the visas, out of that 90% of the people should be passing their course. Because
what if they cannot?
Because see, compliance based assessment, it's a framework which they are using to score all kinds of universities. Okay. And they have also started something called as traffic light compliance. Okay. So it would be red, amber and green, and they would be assessing the universities, how they are doing their compliance duties and stuff like that. So it is a big, I would say, a burden on the university, because these things are quite uncontrollable, I would say, as far as the students are concerned from different nationalities. We don't know what mindset and what intentions they have in terms of coming to the UK, and at the end of the day, maybe there are some students who might not be able to complete the course because of their own we could say assessments. Maybe they fail some assessments and dissertation, which is quite common as of now, what I have seen. So I think the burden would be completely on the universities to make sure that 90% of the people who get the visa, they actually complete the course.
Okay. By any chance, do you know what is the current course completion percentage now? Because if they're targeting for 90, I'm sure it is quite low. I don't know, 70, 60?
I won't take a university name. I don't know the average of the UK, but I know there is one university which recently had a passing rate of 55%. I won't take the university.
Only? Okay.
I saw it a couple of months back.
Okay, I'm going to research about what is the average in the UK.
Yeah, I think if you take the average, it would be somewhere around, let's say 65, 70. But I don't know the exact numbers, but it's quite
raising the bar. They're raising the bar. If you look at 65 to 70 average, they're raising to 70. It's quite
That's
big.
Huge,
yeah. All right. Thanks, Amil, so far. So I'm going to ask you next question, which is about the English language test. So reading the white paper, at least I can see they're suggesting to introduce the English language test for almost all the visa categories. Can you explain what is changing and what they have introduced now?
So from what I have read and what they have proposed, have specifically mentioned students and workers. Okay. So by students, obviously we know people on the student visa, and by workers, we know it's going to include skilled workers, obviously, but we don't know whether these innovator founders and global talents would also be included into this. So let's say we are just going to categorize into students and workers. So the level of English language requirement will be raising from B1 to B2. Okay. And in line with that, they are also, and this is a very big thing for me, that now the dependents also needs to, the adult dependents, I would say, they need to pass in at A1 level.
Correct.
Which is not that big, I would say. As compared to IELTS, it would be around 3.5 overall and in each element. But still, we have seen a lot of times that sometimes the spouse, maybe I wouldn't say educated, but they're not that good fluent in English as per se, I would say. And this is a very big thing. And obviously, when they do the extension, it should be A2. And during the time of settlement, again, it should be, instead of B1, it should be B2. So they are raising the bar, because I keep reading, tweets from Mr. Prime Minister, and he said that he's very clear about the way he has laid out the plan. He wants people to be very fluent in English. They should be aware about what country they are coming into, and that's the reason they have, clubbed it that way.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Thanks, Amil. Thanks for explaining. And the next question that I have is around skill visa. So in my current video, I already talked about the list of changes which are being introduced or proposed to be introduced for skill visa. But one thing that grabbed my attention. So today we already know we have a huge number of jobs in the skilled job categories, which is on the UK Home Office. Now, given that the proposal is to change from RQF level 3 to 6, which means almost say 180 jobs will be removed from it. So can you just explain that a little bit to my audience, which kind of jobs will be removed with some kind of examples?
Yeah. So whenever I do a COS for clients, and whenever you put the SOC code, you get to know the RQF level. Whenever you do the visa applications, you get to know the RQF level as soon as you put the SOC code. So I think the most common RQF level 3 would be chefs, restaurants manager, I think complete hospitality, I would say, business development executive, marketing consultant, sales executive, all kind of management role, hospitality roles, and some roles in constructions as well, which you won't believe accounts for about 60 to 65% of the entire skilled worker market right now.
Correct.
So if we are saying 180 jobs, I have already analyzed that. I already know 100 myself in my mind. Because so frequently we do the visa applications. So we know this is RQF level 3. It's related to human resource. It's related to all kind of management roles, sales role, office manager, business support roles. So I guess the Home Office wants to completely clamp on management based roles which could be easily identified within the countries. And I have seen 90%, 95% of the IT roles are RQF level 6. So maybe the aim of, recently they have taken initiative to promote AI in United Kingdom. So I think they are going that level, and that's what they want to do. But I think it would be a really very big blow if anything happened like that.
Yeah. Is there anywhere on the UK Home Office they have a link where they have mentioned this job title, this job code is RQF level 6 or 3?
There has to be somewhere. There has to be somewhere. I'll find out. And I'll let you find it.
Yeah, sure. Okay, thanks, Amil. That'll be useful, and I can share it with my audience so that they can at least quickly go through it, what kind of jobs they are doing, and whether does that fall into RQF level 3 or 6. If they're confused, at least they can make a decision. If they need to learn a new skill, upskill themselves, they still have time before this proposals become a law, right? Okay. So we already talked about graduate visa, student visa, ILR. We talked about skill visa. Okay, another question to you, Amil. I read about there may be another increase in the salary threshold for skill visa. Have you read about it or have you heard about it? What are your thoughts around it?
That's what grabbed my attention actually. Out of the white paper, there were very few things like 10 years of ILR and stuff like that. I think the increase in the salary grabbed my attention, because if we are, looking at the white paper, they said the immigration salary list is going to be abolished.
Correct.
It would be completely out. They would be introducing a temporary immigration salary list for shortage occupations. They are mentioning it's temporary. So I think it would be for time based, for where Migration Advisory Committee, they are going to work with Department of Work, and they are going to lay out one list, and they are going to work on that temporary list. But as far as the salaries of skilled workers are concerned, I think it's going to be very difficult for anyone from overseas or maybe from within the UK or international talent to get a job on skilled worker, because let's say if we connect the dots, the 180 jobs is going to be out, which which is all RQF level 3. Now a new entrant can get for 31,000 pounds. That's all going to be removed. We are just left with IT jobs, maybe some HR related jobs, some maybe construction or maybe artistic jobs. So I feel, and they have not mentioned when, how, and how much. But I think that's the most important thing which I have assumed and I have analyzed. That's gonna create a lot of issues going forward.
Yeah, the current job market is already tough, and international students or immigrants, they are already struggling to get a sponsored job. And one of the reasons
Yeah.
the salary threshold, which was increased last year. So I
Right.
was surprised to see another proposal to have
Mm.
another increase in the salary threshold. But let's see. You talked about temporary shortage list, which was my next question actually, because I have already talked in my previous video that immigration salary list will be removed, and there was a mention of the temporary shortage list. Do you have any kind of idea or anything that you've heard that what kind of jobs will be in temporary shortage list and what is the purpose of it?
I think, anyways, we are just assuming and we are talking about the past article which have been released by the Home Office and the articles we have read in big newspapers and stuff like that. There is a big shortage going out, as we know, in the construction market. Obviously, the entire IT industry landscape, I would say, cyber security. So I think majority of IT and construction could be in the new temporary shortage occupation list, where anybody could be hired in a lesser salary for a time being, and then they would. But 100% I'm sure that it's going to be related to IT. Most of them, yeah, that's what I'm assuming, because that has been always a big shortage in the market since the time I'm hearing about news since 2015 and 2016. So
Yeah, to be honest, I'm working IT for now 17, 18 years. And from the time I'm here, I shouldn't be generalizing, but I see 70% of the Indians here working in IT. And most of the companies, either they have outsourced to big firms like, say,
yeah.
Cognizant, TCS, Wipro, they send their people here or working in IT. So their local people, either they don't like IT, they don't love technology. Maybe that's why they are not trained or they are not upskilling into technology. They have to outsource to Indian companies, like I mentioned.
Right,
And
right.
that's the reason why there's a shortage and why there's reliant on immigrants.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know what specific roles they will be planning to add. I'm quite curious to know about that as well. Maybe more on AI, because AI is speaking. And I know the youngsters are pretty interested to learn that, because most of the
Yeah.
students now I'm interacting, they are also taking courses on AI, which is going to be in huge demand. If they're taking that, I think there will be good jobs, number of jobs for them, and maybe sponsored jobs for them later.
Yeah, I mean, it was all implemented in a very big way in 2024. And in less than a year, I think we are talking about another biggest change I think this country has ever seen in the past couple of decades, I would say.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big thing. There has to be a reason behind it. Obviously, they want to make sure there's fall in the net migration, but that's not our topic to discuss.
Yes, true. Okay, Amil, thank you for being so patient. I just have last one question before I let you go. I also read about something mentioned regarding family migration framework. Did you know that well? And if yes, what does it mean?
So as far as Sarika, the family migration is concerned, whatever I have read and whatever I have understood, I guess I'm still sleep deprived by reading this for a long time now. But what we have understood, the Home Office is very clear. They want to close a backdoor route to settlement, and they are very, reluctant on the fact that they only want to allow people who contribute to the UK economy. It could be in terms of taxes, it could be in terms of the times they have spent in the UK, in terms of their good character. I think we are all assuming this point, and they have also mentioned certain things which is known as earned settlement. And just 1 hour before, I have seen tweet from Mr. Prime Minister that he said settlement is not a right, it's a privilege.
Correct.
What they used to say for sponsor license. So I think I would like to end on this note.
Okay, thanks, Amil. So before we wrap today's video, any final piece of advice from you for my audience?
So I think I have mentioned it in my today's post, and I'm going to say from your channel as well. Guys, see, this is for all of you. You do not need to panic. I've explained it in a good way, in a joke way, in a fun way. I understand you guys are into that situation. So, either we can make a fun about it, or either either we can relax or either we can just hope that things are going to fall in our favor, because nothing has been finalized, nothing has been decided. These laws, not in just UK but any part of the world, takes time to become a legislation. So whether it's ILR from 5 years to 10 years, whether it's about the English language, your spouse, or anything, it's gonna take a bit of time. So whoever is on the route to settlement, relax. Whoever's applying for skilled work visa, relax. You can continue your life the way you're doing right now, rather than thinking what's gonna happen tomorrow. So if you wait now, you might not be able to be eligible in the future. So what are you doing now? Continue doing. And obviously you can contact Sarika at ykb@mac25.co.uk, and Sarika will put down my maybe LinkedIn link in the link, and you guys can get in touch with me. And yes, we are always here for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amil. Thanks for answering all the questions so patiently. And I hope, guys, this Q&A was useful. If you want me to bring Amil again for a live session on YouTube, please comment live Q&A, and I'm going to get Amil very soon to discuss all your questions if you have more questions. Thank you, Amil. Thanks, and see you later.
Thank you so much, Sarika. Bye. Thank you.